My name is Shimmy, Kotu. I'm the guy with the 2 PhDs. We have lost them since I can't prove where I got them to a refugee. I am that guy. So enraged with the refugee that I was famous. I woke up and I found myself on Daily Sun. Okay. I am that guy. Okay. I'm 56. I've been married to the same woman for 33 years. I have 4 children. The first one is 32. He's not here. He's with his wife and children somewhere. But the other 3 are here. That guy is 28. He's the second born. The Chinese-looking girl here, she's the only girl. And the family rapper there is my last one. All right? 40 years ago, I was 16. And I met Dr. Mulebatsi. If I was Catholic, I would say today I met the Pope, okay? No, Brasisa is a strong legend. And then Brasisa is a very big brand, okay? Ask all of us. I'm the Youth Alive gang.
Yeah.
And it is the greatest privilege for me, not just to meet him, but to be in this panel with him. Now, please give him a hand. He's a serious saint. No, Brasisa is a serious saint. I actually am a philosopher, okay? And let me tell you what gives me, I'm like a serious philosopher, like a qualified philosopher, like a PhD philosopher. I'm serious about it. Yeah, I'll show you. I'll show you. I'll come to a guy's funeral and I'll throw my CV in his grave. It will be proof enough. And what I love about my profession is you are clever, not when you offer solutions, but when you ask questions. A good philosopher asks the correct questions. And part of the problem is I'm writing all the time, and I think that is the only problem my wife will have. My wife and kids know that some father's job, I think. I'm telling you, they ask, what are you thinking? I remember when my mother-in-law came visiting. She says to my wife, what is it? He says, I walk around the house, doctor, I'm funny. I walk around the house because to me thinking is an activity. No, I think all the time. And part of what unsettles me is proponents of relativism are very dogmatic. Yeah. I think you noted the paradox there. The greatest proponents of relativism are the most dogmatic people today. You see, what are you saying about the gay people? They're dogmatic about the fact that you're wrong, when they're the greatest propagators of relativism. Relativism says there's nothing wrong, there's no wrong, there's no right. I was talking to some guy who says there is no God, and I'm saying to him, brother, do you know everything? He said, no, nobody knows everything. I said, then what is the wrong of information on the knowledge of God lies within the domain of what you don't know. And maybe, no, my wife accuses me. When you go for marriage counseling, she'll tell the counselor, you over-process this thing. I ask why. Why did you say that? Why did you say that? Lovey, be happy that they said it. No, I want to know why did they say that. And I was saying that this brother is an atheist, and I was saying, to me, it's not the Christians around who have proved that there is God, but the atheists. He says, why? He says, what do you mean? He says, no. Every atheist's best topic is God. You know that. Yeah. I talk sex, I talk soccer, I talk politics, I talk everything. And atheist just talks God. And to me, you're so obsessed with a non-existent entity I wonder how obsessed you believe it actually existed. And this, really, I'm being honest with you. And this brings me to my first point. I'm busy writing. I've written 18 books. And you'll find them on blurb.com, okay? B-L-U-B-B-L-U-R-B. And maybe you can find where I studied there. Read the book carefully. I do mention somewhere. And I'm busy with 4 books now. And the one is Help My Wife Is Aging. I've been with this woman for 33 years. I've seen her. My wife is aging, and I thought I'm not the only guy going through that. and I'm busy with that. And I wrote another book on living a godly legacy. Yeah. 32 things your children should see you do. Yeah. And the third book is, those are books 19, 20, 21. The third book is 28 things you should have resolved before you got married. And the fourth one is about wife, loving things. Why am I bringing this to your attention? Because of a simple reason that family is the nucleus of society. Family. Not government. Not pressure groups. Not the media. Family. And if you're going to be a very good family man, you must reconcile with this fact. There is no one who believes nothing. You're sending a very dangerous message to your wife and children if you're a man who can't stand for anything they believe. On this earth, there is not a single person who believes nothing. And if you're not aware of that, you're going to have people make you feel guilty that you believe something. Yeah. I believe in God. Okay? Yeah. And I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I'm a Christian. I've been a Christian for 40 years. And no, really, I believe that there are men and there are women. And I believe that's why I got married to women. That's my belief. No, really, I believe that Kaizer Chiefs are useless. There is no man who believes don't let bullies, don't let bullies put you out of that zone. Because your belief is not a national asset. My belief is not a national asset. The Makhatla don't own what I believe. I live somewhere between, I live in Bloemfontein and Joburg. Bloemfontein for my convictions, Joburg for my children. And wherever I go, I carry my belief. Part of the problem is we have family men who are sissies. Now, nobody believes in nothing. True. And there is an intrusion of that space. And if you have no context of the cause for the intrusion, you're going to be a very sissy. You're going to live and die. You may leave houses and cars. But your wife and kids will think, what did he leave for? And the second point is, what is the use of having a belief that you can't stand for and propagate? Let's go back to the issue of relativism. I was having this conversation with a guy who says there's no God and there's no heaven, there's no hell. I said, sure. I said, now. He says, what? I said to him, what happens when you die? He says, no, when you die, you just dissipate. Wow. At that point, I actually wished I believed that, and it was true. Because it removes from me the responsibility of doing right. I said, but then, if that's what you believe in, why are you worried about what I believe in? Because your belief is non-consequential. Do you understand what I'm saying? Brother Caesar, if when we die, we just dissipate, we are nowhere. My goodness. Why are you concerned that I believe that there is heaven and hell? Because I'm concerned about your belief, because I believe that if you don't change your mind, you go to hell, but you believe that you go nowhere. So you should not be concerned with me. Those are the bullying tactics of your relatives and proponents. You can't be an effective father if you believe in nothing. I have 4 extremely functional children. And I brought them up not on a government belief. I brought them up on my personal belief. I believe. And when I look for a wife, I look for someone who shares my belief.
Yes.
Let me tell you why it's important for you to marry within your philosophical belief, your religious space. The longest enduring, the harshest battles, historically, are religious battles. Look at the battle in the Middle East. The battle in the Middle East is not a political battle. The United Nations said, they said Israel, you're occupying the West Bank illegally. And they passed a resolution, and the Jews says, go to hell. We own this land before the United Nations. And that's what he means. He said, no, God gave us the land in the book of Joshua or whatever. Religion is a major force and factor in life. Marry within your religious space. Because there's going to be war under that roof. So I was looking for a girl I loved, and I looked for a girl who shares my belief. Because I didn't want us to have to send conflicting messages to our children. And we have brought up our children not to embrace universal beliefs. I am not universal. I'm a definite entity. My children are brought up believing what Shimmy and Kotu believe. Yeah. Because long before they were children, I ensured that I got a girl I didn't have to change, who subscribed to my stupidity. And in our stupidity, we have brought up kids who are well grounded in their stupidity, and they are meaningful. The second factor you have to embrace is there is no one who believes everything. There is a psychological term for someone who believes everything, okay? But there's no one. So you need to be resolute to not believe. As a family man, somebody said to me, tell me, do you believe Muslims are right? I said, no, if I believe they were right, I would be a Muslim. So I believe they're wrong. But I respect their right to be wrong in my eyes. The problem is when I'm so caught up in what I believe in, that it diminishes how I think about it. You understand what I'm saying to you? Yeah. But you can't demand that I believe in nothing as a term for engagement. But you also can't demand that I believe in everything. My kids have had me say, that's rubbish, I don't believe in that. And rubbish is not a sore word. It's a descriptive word, okay? Like fool is not an insult. It's a diagnosis. When I say no, but there's a medical doctor here. Even medical doctors can be wrong in their diagnosis. And you go for second opinion. So if I've called you fool and you offend me, don't fight me. Go for second opinion. But you said I have cancer and I've checked. Somebody says, no, don't worry, it's just stress. I never hated you. They never tried you off the HPCS. But even in law, you know, a judge does not get fired for giving a wrong verdict. Yeah. You understand? You understand that? So if you can't submit to my verdict, go for second opinion and stop fighting. There are a family man who stands for everything. Yeah. We could talk for a whole day. Let me give you the context at the end. What is the real challenge of the family? The real challenge is not strong women. The real challenge is not chauvinistic men. The real challenge is we live in a system that wants to regulate and to define our truth. Right now, we are going to be over with this regulation of religion thing very soon. It's a long-won battle. We will never regulate religion in South Africa. But the next project is parental rights. Yeah. Government is not a parent to my children. No. When government has sex, they birth corruption. You don't birth children. Okay? Children are birthed when a man and a woman have sex. If we can be trusted with bringing that life onto this earth, we can be trusted with bringing it up. But there is a reason for that. And that reason is wrapped up in a little document that a small community movement tried to share in 1918, and the world laughed at it. Alice Bailey. Alice Bailey shared a philosophy before the First World War. Says, look, we have to reconstruct society. And people laughed at her. This woman is dumb, she's stupid, and they laughed. And then after the Second World War, people said, maybe she had a point. And now, the United Nations have adopted a 10-point plan to reconstruct society. That's the great challenge. It's a simple plan. They said, take God and prayer out of educational systems. We're not talking about merits or demerit. I'm talking fact. Okay, I'm a researcher. Maybe not of note like you. But I want to add context to what I'm saying. Part 2, please follow me because I'm closing the next 5 minutes. Reduce parental authority over children. Now, all you see happening around is not coincidental. It's planned. Google the United Nations 10-point plan. Google the United Nations New World Order plan. And you shall see the kind of struggles a family man has. 3, they said, destroy the Judeo-Christian family structure or the traditional family structure. Why? Because it prevents different agents of society from making that intrusion into the family space. A family with a father and a mother, the traditional family, as Dr. Mulbat said about the 3 Ps, they offer protection and they preserve and destroy that. So that the children is found wanting in terms of their own identity. And then government through media and pressure groups will redefine the child's identity. We have to contextualize this. Number 4, they said, if sex is free, then make abortion legal and make it easy. I'm not talking fallacy or myth. I'm talking, so in English, Googleable facts. And 5, they said, make divorce easy and legal. Free people from the concept of marriage for life. Let's be honest, when a student said I've been married for 33 years to the same woman, some said, it's more of an exception now than a rule. That shows the extent to which this plan is successful. Number 6, they said, make homosexuality an alternative lifestyle. I'm talking United Nations, New World Order 10-point plan. Number 7, debase art and make it run mad. Number 8, use media to promote and change mindsets. You bemoaned that a while ago. Number 9 is create an interfaith movement. Make people believe in everything. There's nothing wrong with being atheist if that's your conviction. Live by it. If you have resolved to be a Muslim, live by it. But don't put us in a beliefless society. Because human beings are created believers. And a man who believes in nothing is as good as non-existent. So he's a man who believes in everything. Now, and let me show you the hypocrisy of the universal culture. We don't mock you for supporting Orlando Pirates. We don't say, "Ooh, what a bigot." You mean out of the 16 groups you chose one? What a conservative. 6 men. You're not accommodating. You buy Orlando Pirates t-shirts. We don't scorn. You know, I was trying to explain to my wife and kids, and they think I'm mad. why my conscience would never allow me to wear a Springbok jersey. I see the betrayal. But I've forgotten so no, it's a prejudice. I'm trying to prove a point. I've refused free Springbok jerseys. No, Mandela does it, but you are assuming I endorse Mandela. But we accept that you can be EFF. I'm talking prejudice. I still struggle. Now, this is a confession of a black man, a broken black man. I still struggle to deem intelligent a black man who supports the DA. This guy. No, it's prejudice. Black man, DA. You know, I remember, I'm telling you, I'm talking about serious stuff. I used to support the ANC. Do I still support them? No, that's not the point. I used to support them. And you know, the ANC, and that's my friend, because I was involved in the structures. The ANC candidate was my friend, the white man. On election day, I came out and said to my sweetie, I could not do the cross. I did that. I'm explaining prejudice. We accept that we can be different, except in our belief towards God. I was trying to explain to this atheist why atheism is a religion. Because religion, by definition, is your attitude towards God. The Muslims have their own, the traditionalists their own, the Christians their own, the Jews their own, and the atheists theirs. Opinion on God puts you within the domain of theology. Whether you prove or disprove, you're a theologian. Now, I'm saying to you, when we accept that people make choices, we label people for the choices they make. And that's hypocritical. And it has put the family man in a situation where, because you believe nothing, you are ineffective as the foremost informant in the life of a child. Government can't make children. The media can't make children. Politicians can't make children. Pressure groups can't make children. Fathers sire children. Mothers conceive and deliver. But we cannot be so apologetic about that we bring our children up according to universal principles. The universe does not birth children. My kids used to go to a private school, and let me tell you, there's very little difference, if any, between private and public school. Now, the most notable difference are the fees. I'm being honest with you. All three. The brothers spent a few years in Soweto. All three, from grade R to Matric, they've been in private school. I called my kid's principal and said, Mr. Lennon, look, man, you know I'm a pastor. He says, yeah. You know I'm a believer in Christ. He says, yeah. I said, so you know where this comes from, okay? He says, look, man, I have a concern. He says, what's your concern, doctor? I said, look, the kids, man, the kids. Hey, the kids know the Bible, man. But you see, I did not bring them to school for the Bible. Because I teach them the Bible at home. So the problem is, I don't understand why I should pay you when you and I are good at the same time. I thought they were coming for math, physics. They're poor with it. But now the problem is, while I grieve over that, I can't even give you credit for the knowledge of the Bible because I think it comes from the association with me. So up the maths, up. Why? Because I believe that the whole is an information center.
Should be.
But CCs will never leverage them. And we have yielded the authority and the influence to foreign forces, and foreign means non-family oriented forces. We are African, we are European, we are Asian, whatever you are. There are the ways of your people, whoever your people are. And you cannot be such a CC that when you step into this zone, you are ashamed to even share that to as uninformed an individual as a toddler. I mean, if you can't share your convictions with a toddler. You sigh. You are a coward indeed. Julius point in 1 minute. And they said, yeah, we're not talking. They said, create an interfaith. And when they've done all this, get governments to make all these laws and get the church to endorse these changes. Why the church? The church is the biggest non-governmental organization in the world. And I'm saying, we're contextualizing your parenthood. These are the forces, these are the wolves that encroach on your family privacy. That if you're a sissy, you'll never stand up to it. I tell my kids what is wrong, what is right. I can't leave it to society. Who is society? Does society have an address? Do they have a racial or national origin? Who's society? My neighbors change all the time. So society is a myth. There's no society. But I know there is Shimmy, and I know there is Messi, and we have 4 kids. I cannot be afraid of informing my children, lest I appear bigoted and conservative. Yeah, Coach. Thank you, man.
So if I can just hit one microphone, one roving microphone, I'll appreciate. Is there one? Going once, is there two? Is there one? You've got one. Thank you so much. Gentlemen, we are pressed for time. It's such a thorny session in terms of that which are the norms in the society. So I would have loved us to spend more time looking at the family structure and men in the family, because if we get it right in the family, the society will be okay. In fact, the rest of the things that we will speak about for the rest of the day will be fixed if we fix this. A man in the family, right? So I'm going to just allow 3 sessions, just 3 hands. 3 hands. I'm going to note them now. You're not going to be led by the Spirit. When the debating that is now hot. 1, you were the second one. Teddy, you were the 3rd one. I'm going to squeeze you in, Chief. Right, that's the 4th one. And just ensure that you are squeezable too, right? In your contribution. Thank you so much. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Yeah, number 1. Yes, the one. Yeah. It looks like Orlando guy.
Thank you for the presentation. My name is Sipo.
My name is Sipo too.
Yeah. I've got a question. There's a portion of scripture in the Bible that says, that is in Deuteronomy chapter 25:11. It says that when 2 men are fighting and a wife of the other man comes in and holds the private parts of this other man, make sure that you cut her hands off. My question is, I'm just throwing a lesson from there, because today the society is in a challenge where how do men that their private parts are held rise from that challenge? Either from a point of integrity, family, as it is already presented. How do men rise from that point where their manhood is held?
Right.
Captive.
That's deep. Hold it right there. Don't go fair. That's very deep, though. Thank you so much for your question. Did you know that? Yeah, thank you. Second question? Second question? Switch on the microphone.
I thought my mic was already on. All right, thanks, ma'am. I think I'm a bit or slightly confused or challenged by the speakers in terms of the uniqueness and the values that we are supposed to be upholding and sharing with our children. Now, my biggest challenge is mainly what we know today is based on what we were taught what we learned from the people that were the grandfathers, fathers, and forefathers, and what we term the society. But now, we hear we should be more unique and do things our own way. And in that, there's more influence on what we see and we think works today and what we probably are made to believe that is good for our children. How do we make a distinction and take the right stand in influencing the young ones? I think probably Ndangam Lona 56 can answer this. So
This is really my first session where men openly speak about their ages. Amazing.
Yep.
That question.
Yeah, any of the two speakers perhaps should help me reflect about this. Against the backdrop of changing and dynamic knowledge, for example, the American Psychiatric Association, apologized for diagnosing homosexuality as a disease because of the changing nature of knowledge and the shifting sense of time. Now, as things change and knowledge, we get advanced, how does one locate oneself against that backdrop? Thank you.
Right, so 3 questions. You're most welcome to deal with any. You said 4. Squeeze up. Do it quick. Do it quick. Thanks, man.
Hi everyone. How do I put this? It's been an interesting first session. I could pick up a lot from each of the individual speakers, like Dr. David Ndapa could pick up the law of attraction. Dr. Shimmy, I could pick up how you define yourself and stand for what you believe in, as well as Tassism Libat. So going forward, since currently my family, and Dr. Shimmy was saying that family is a nucleus to society, not the government. So I want to fix the broken family that I'm from, but I want to do it strategically because there's a lot of dynamics in it, overprotected older sister, overprotective older brother being the last one in the family, family issues, my nephews and nieces. So with that said, Dr. Kotu, I want to do it your way. I picked up something that I could relate to you on, which is not strict or formal, but has a bit of sense of humor, and it can open up the family to see where I'm coming from and where I'm going with this, like trying to fix the Skosana family, which I come from, so that it can be nucleus to other families within where I come from, which is Davidton. Yes.
Yeah, okay, I'll leave it to the philosopher. But for me, the first question about the woman who is hanging, I think it's very important because I see some very erudite people here, but every text has a context. And every context and every text has a subtext. So you can't take one text like that and say, what was intended? Was it intended to take care of the private parts and the sanctity of the man's private parts? Was it intended to teach that you must not allow a woman to define your manhood? What was intended? So before that text, let's look at the context. Then we'll look at the subtext, and then we can actually look at the pretext. I'm sorry to be textual here. So I think it's very important that we should do that. And so I will not venture to try and interpret the historical moment without actually understanding what the actual contextual teaching and intention was. I think I want to talk about the issue of uniqueness. And let me preface my statement by saying this. I was not here to try and tell you how to be a provider, how to be a preserver. That is not what I was trying to do. I was just saying that these are areas where it is your responsibility. With regards to uniqueness, your uniqueness is grounded in something. I started out by saying that before the foundations, in other words, your uniqueness is predicated upon the fact that even before you were contemplated, there was a purpose in your life. And that purpose is what you need to discover within the context and plunge. You cannot do that outside of that context. However, I then pointed out the dangers of what the context does in terms of how media and post-colonialism has actually fashioned our mind and our own self-understanding. So this is what really I meant by uniqueness. I'm not supposed to be a clone of somebody else, but I am supposed to be unique. But in that uniqueness, I then take the Abrahamic argument that Abraham was there to be a transmitter of something as a man within the context of a family. And then I also challenge that the family must not be the myopic definition of what we have of a family, but must look at our cultural roots, which has got embedded in it certain elements of spirituality that are not anti-biblical, by the way, in the main. Okay? They're not. So anyway, that's a discussion for another day with the erudite people like, and that you see. But for now, please, we want to have tea. So, but the uniqueness I'm referring to is your purpose. And you determine what the purpose is within the context of knowing that there's actually a plan about which you are about to be. And then you must play that out within the context of the family. I did not have time to define what is a family as I would have liked to, but I did try to share to you that in an African context, a family is not just man and fro. I can make pro mechanics. It's more than that. Having said that, therefore, what is your role as a man within that context? It is to be an upholder of the God knowledge. That's really what I was trying to say.
Yeah. Car manufacturers or appliance manufacturers who provide manuals. Okay? BMW manufacturers, the car come with a manual. Ford. But people who don't make cars don't give out manual. You can't give out a manual for nothing that you have no part in making. And part of what you should be aware of is using information propagated by people who don't have children to raise children. There, you must be unapologetic. You didn't make my child. I'm a first point of reference in their lives, and unapologetically so. And it's my job to program them in such a way that I find, I made them say, and I'm going to, no, I tell them when I'm angry at them, I said, I didn't meet you, I made you. No, I tell them. No, but part of the problem is, no, fathers who are sisters, you must believe in something, and you must share it with your family, unapologetically so. Now, you have a situation where, when you are silent on certain issues, nature allows more than you. Somebody else becomes a point of reference for your child's upbringing. Government does not make children. The media does not make children. Pressure groups don't make children. And you should not be ashamed of this we have made. Between the two of us, we made these ones. And we are going to be their primary point of reference. I'm unapologetic on that. Now, the second thing is, I tell parents, answering you, it is an established fact in psychology that the basic cause of womanizing is insecurity. It's not need for sex. When a man lacks confidence, a man is a natural hunter. He tries to define who he is by the number of women he conquers. This is not meant to boast. In 33 years, I've never cheated once. Because I knew who I was before I met Bessie. I've never. There is a way I look at women that makes it impossible for me to cheat. Even in my dumbest moment, cheating is not an option. Because Brasis was telling my kids how boisterous I was growing up, and hey, a lot of things there. In the my police with a serious. I grew up poor. I came from a broken family. I was born with 10% vision. I was born with deformed lungs. There was no money. I can't say we got poor since my dad left. We had nothing. And that helped me define my life outside material efforts. And when I grew up, I didn't need a woman to feel like a man. I'm a man not because I have a wife. I was created one. My genes determine my gender. And I'm just owning up. I could do it even if I had a woman. I've traveled the world, and I've traveled without my wife. I've been in places where she did not even know what I would be doing there. But I've come home, and I've never found a reason to find myself in women. Because my identity was completely defined in my belief. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that thing of touching whatever, don't let alone women, don't let anybody define who you are. One of the principles, you should not be afraid to embrace this. My daughter is 22 now. When she was born, I said to my wife, let's do this. I'll never beat her up. Hey, the brothers go there. Hey, the brothers go there. And she said, why? I said, no, I don't want her growing up in a world where she thinks there's any justification for men to beat women. Yeah. Neighbor said, she's going to turn out bad. They lied. She's a responsible citizen. Why? I did not let society define my parenting style. I established that myself.
Right, amen. So whilst he's standing here, and I'm going to remind you now, you spoke about 32 things that any father should be demonstrating to their child. 32. Don't explain 5 of them, top of the head. 1, 2, 3, 4.
They must see you love. They must see you forgive. They must see you respect. They must see you protect. They must see you provide. Not just money. You provide ideas, you provide. You give your children the basis to believe in something.
Get the rest on his book. Thank you so much, Dr. Shimmy, Kotu, Dr. Caesar Livate. We will appreciate both of you. Gentlemen, let's just give them a standing ovation and just appreciate